It's the final day of the 2025 GT Cup Europe season, qualifying two at the Temple of Speed, just getting underway. Yesterday was a flurry of championships being sealed in the AM Championship. Dieter Schweppes and Leandro Martins celebrated back-to-back titles in that category for Leandro Martins' new race team this year. Laura van den Hengel became the first woman to win a championship title in GT Sports competition alongside Paul Meyer in the Pro-Am category for the Burgers Motorsports team. And though we didn't actually mention it yesterday, Ian Rodriguez and Luca Franca did manage to secure the overall championship for the Fimes team. We got the abacus out after the race, did a little bit of mathematics with the drop scores to be applied, which always complicate matters. But yes, it is the championship sealed for Franca and Rodriguez. So the only thing left to seal now is the team's championship. And after a 1-2 finish yesterday for Q1 track racing, they are tied on points with the Fimes team. And it is going down to the wire. And we talked about Q1 and how they haven't had the best of seasons. They have won a title in all bar 1 year in the team's championship. And we thought they weren't going to be in contention for this one, and suddenly it's all changed with a race to go. But 20 minutes of qualifying to come. The drivers who took the checkered flag yesterday are taking the wheel for this qualifying session. It's Chris Stevens and George Morgan up here in the commentary box.
Well, good morning, Chris, and good morning, everyone around the globe as well. Congratulations, just to further your point, to our new champions. Luca Franca, Ian Rodriguez, pulling out all the stops and later managing, after the calculations were put together, to capture the crown. Big shout out to Laura van den Hengel, first woman to win a championship under the GT Sport banner, alongside Paul Meyer as well, who has pulled off a magnificent 6 out of 6 in terms of qualifying performances, with 6 pole positions, the most of anyone. In fact, the only driver inside the entire grid to actually take more than 1 pole so far this season. That could change though today, you never know. Obviously elsewhere, and classification, back-to-back champions Dieter Schweppes and Leandro Martins, the Brazilian pairing from LMR Motorsport, delivering the goods and managing to lift aloft the championship crown for a second successive year. And you allude to the team's championship. Huge opportunity now for Q1 track racing to throw themselves back into the fight and retake the crown that they last won back in 2023. And bear in mind, that 2023 win was their 3rd on the spin after first capturing it as part of EMG Motorsport in 2021.
Yeah, they have been a hugely successful outfit in this championship. It's the Belgian squad, very much the benchmark, but a brand new team, the new contenders, the Fimes squad, which is a brand new team for this year in partnership with Black Drone. And they've not only have they won the Drivers' Championship in their first year of competition, they may well have the team's championship by the end of the day as well. So we will keep an eye on that over the course of the 50-minute race later on this afternoon. For now, look at that barrel load of steering lock there for the Ian Rodriguez 91 car, and an awful lot of understeerers. It is a very crisp morning here in the National Park of Monza, just 13 degrees track temperature. So an awful lot of work going into putting some temperature into the Michelin rubber, and drivers very much building up to the laps at the moment. Nobody's pushing too terribly hard out there. There's plenty of time for them to set their pace, but in terms of potential contenders, Fabio Babini is in the Tsunami Racing Team Porsche that was just denied the Pro-Am title yesterday. Other quick drivers out there include, of course, Pietro Armani, Ian Rodriguez, Matteo Lovisi in the sister Fimes team car that joined us last time out in Barcelona. So they got to be overall contenders. Other quick bronze drivers out there do include Dieter Schweppes and Cosmo Papi, Nathan Brauns, Ivan Velasco, 2-time champion of the series, back with us this weekend alongside Annie Frozio, his former garage mate. Lorenzo Bontempelli in the Easy Race Ferrari, I'm sure will be out for a little bit of vengeance after he and Fabio Deforby really dominated the race yesterday. There is that 4:03 easy race at Ferrari that ran out of fuel with just a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, it was a tough visit, wasn't it, for them in their first appearance this season in the 4:03. Naturally looking to bounce back, just a slight miscalculation ultimately in terms of how the race was going to unfold, and therefore an almost certain victory ripped away from their fingertips in the final dying moments, which took us all by surprise. My first instance of seeing it was just seeing the timing tower reflect them dropping down the order, unfortunately, for Lorenzo Bontempelli, but now back again looking to redeem himself this time around. And again, it means a return of a Ferrari machine as well to the grid. And also, we're once again witnessing a Lamborghini. You so mentioned Annie Frozio and Ivan Velasco. Of course, Velasco, a former champion already of this series, twice over, once with Luka Ludwig and the season prior, Jorge Cabezas.
Both of them formerly under the tutelage of Jorge Cabezas as well in the same team. Cabezas won the title with Velasco a couple of years ago. And Velasco is an overall pole sitter in this championship. So despite being a bronze driver, it's a very shiny bronze driver. We're on board here with Fabio Babini, the Tsunami Racing Team Porsche. Has not only got this qualifying session, the 50-minute race this afternoon, but also the 3-hour GT Open 500 race, the season finale in the GT3 car for Tsunami as well. It's a very busy day for Fabio Babini, concluding his dual campaign across the two series, breaking down towards the Rettifilio chicane. Oh, I do enjoy listening to a flat six here at Monza. Just beautiful.
He had a fantastic rotation coming through turn one as well. It was a pleasure to watch. And Babini now looking to open up the throttle, heading through Curva Grande, and already the fastest driver on the timing screen. Still very much early days. We've got purple first sectors igniting elsewhere as well. Rodriguez incidentally nestling in what was a purple first sector. It looks like it's been stolen by Babini again this time as he floats through the Rogier chicane. Certainly that experience not lost on this man. He is a vast talent that has certainly proven himself time and time again. And now looking to show it all once more here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, a religious ground for everything motorsport related, home, of course, of the Italian Grand Prix that broke ground back on the 15th of May, 1922, over 103 years ago, opened up the same year, only months later in September on the 3rd, and obviously has hosted many a great race in its time, much like Silverstone harnesses the natural home of Formula One as well, but also we see oodles of fantastic GT racing, and the same can be said for the GT Cup Europe Championship. Now as we see Babini go purple again inside the middle, 36.896. His last lap was a 1:49.886. He's the only driver in the 1:49s right now as he comes through Curva Alboreto, and you'll open up the throttle once again, just twisting the wheel for a little bit of grip. Need to be conscious inside this Porsche machinery, but Babini more than equipped to meet the standards expected by this car. He makes his way up towards the line and will go purple once again. A 1:48.509 as Rodriguez slaps in a 1:49.723.
Pole position yesterday by Paul Meyer, making it 6 out of 6 for the Dutch driver. It was a 1:47.136, so still got a little bit of time to find out there before we are at the ultimate pace of these cars, I think. Paul Meyer, incidentally, yesterday letting me know that they had a power issue at the start of the race. We saw him drop back at the start and struggle to recover those places, and well, that's why the flat six not delivering all 525 horsepower as it should have been doing. It's back on board with Ian Rodriguez, who's second fastest at the moment, 1.2 seconds behind Babini, but as I say, the drivers still building up to their ultimate pace. It was that corner there where his teammate Luca Franca was struggling so much, had multiple oversteer moments leading onto the Seraglio straight. But Ian Rodriguez, the Guatemalan, seems to have it covered off for the most part, tipping it into Ascari. And coming out of the other side again. And 3/10 down on what Babini is doing so far, but it's 2 personal bests for him so far. Meanwhile, Pietro Armani's just gone fastest in the final sector to go second fastest in the ZRS Motorsports car. That is a multiple race winner throughout this year, and up until yesterday, a contender for the championship. Rodriguez driving up towards the timing line. Peter Svep's going third fastest in the meantime, and Rodriguez dispatching him there. Goes third fastest, 2/10 away from Babini's time, but Babini lighting up the timer screen in the first sector and puts another half a second between himself and Pietro Armani.
Yeah, what was just under 700ths of a second between Babini and Armani is now all of a sudden stretched out to beyond half a second. And then some. Levisi pops into fifth fastest at the same time. We have got 4 cars currently matching at the speed trap at this point, amassing 279 at the moment. But personal best currently lighting up across the board at the moment. We've got personal best from Gianluca Gheorghi as well as Cosmo Papi in the AM class. They're looking to get a little bit closer to Dieter Schweppes, who currently leads that AM contingent right now. Babini goes purple again, finding 26 thousandths additional on his previous best time and the current provisional pole time as we stand. Ian Rodriguez also finding a personal best for Fime's team as they look to celebrate what has been a fantastic weekend for them in closing out the GT Cup Europe Championship. As we now watch Babini fly through the second Lesmo corner, Seraglio Straight coming up next before they then rush through the Ascari chicane as he looks to pursue greater achievements here alongside driving partner Davide Schinicchio, who will be hopping in when the driver change window opens up halfway through race 2. It's another 10th of a second found here from Babini as he flies through and commits to the curbs once again. A true artist behind the wheel of Porsche machinery. Babini, of course, many a time competitor in the Le Mans 24-hour. He has been there, he's done it, has got one of the most enviable CVs you will find here on this grid, and flying through the final corner here at Curva Alboreto, looking to once again place more time upon everyone else inside this 23-car classification to ignite the timing screen even higher. Rodriguez can't improve in the final sector, remains third, but Babini will certainly improve again. A trio of purple sectors once more, and the gap now enlarges to over 7/10 of a second ahead of Pietro Armani.
I was having a fascinating chat yesterday morning with Fabio about the fact that he's been downgraded from gold to silver for next year by the FIA. And that means that in GT Open with his teammate there, Johannes Zelger, they could enter the AM category next year, but it also opens up an awful lot of doors in terms of things like the Asian Le Mans series, where he would have been the gold driver in that car, but now they can have someone else of an equally good speed. This is the 56 LMR car of Peter Furter, just dipping 2 wheels into the gravel. I'm amazed that's the first one we've caught, at least caught on camera in this session, because it seemed like everyone was doing it yesterday.
Well, Babini flexing his muscles again as we now watch Armani fly through, and I must say, got a bit squirrely coming through the midway section of Ascari. Peter Furter goes 17th fastest despite the tread into the gravel trap. Cosmo Papi, Nathan Braun's enlisting some good times too. Papi all of a sudden popping into P2 overall. Nathan Braun's P3. Papi now has the AM lead in terms of, or the AM pole, I should say. Of course, remember that was elsewhere earlier on. Dieter Schweppes held it. He's now down in 12th overall, as now Armani with 2 personal bests, getting really close to the time that Babini last set, only 25 thousandths away coming out of the middle sector. Let's see if he can put a dent in it. No, slowed down in that final sector, but Babini again finding more time as Rodriguez also enlists personal best, and he's only 47 thousandths away from Babini inside that middle sector as well. But the big question is, will his final sector be better than Armani's? Schweppes moves back into 5th fastest once more, but still 3rd in the AM class. Rodriguez remains in 7th. Babini faster again and lumps near another 7.5 tenths on top of P2's Papi right now.
I don't know how Rodriguez lost so much time in the final sector there. Must have been a moment at Ascari. Levisi moving up to 2nd place now. This is the Q1 track racing car, Nicolas Salens. Now he's dipping 2 wheels into the gravel. And whoa! That could have been way worse. That could have been pitched into the barrier with that little extra dip right there.
Saved
well held by Nicolas Salens. And it was 2nd place overall for our Pro-Am winners yesterday. And somehow their first Pro-Am win of the season, which is astonishing to say when we're talking about a team that fought for the title last year.
Well, we had them laid down as, you know, potential Pro-Am winners of the title this year in class. I mean, they were so good last year. And we've just seen them thrive at the top of the GT Cup Europe Championship. Of course, this season it hasn't necessarily been the case. We've just had others step up. Obviously, Paul Meyer has been an astonishing talent to see behind the wheel, and alongside, of course, Laura van den Hengel marking her time in the GT Cup Europe, becoming the first female to take the championship in under a GT Sport organisation banner as Daniele Casaniga now goes second fastest with a 1:48.100. Nice time indeed.
He's doing very well for someone in his first year of car racing, we believe, but knows this circuit well, I think, from Porsche Sports Cup. As Dieter Schweppes goes up towards the line now. These bronze drivers are doing very well in this session, aren't they? And fourth fastest now for the double class champion of this category. Oh, that is the second of the Fimes cars, the 93. Who's driving that one today? Oh, yes, it's Matteo Levisi. So, oh, and he had done a personal best in the first sector as well, I think, on that lap. So he has botched that one. Meanwhile, Fabio Babini into pit lane with 4 minutes left on the clock. So he clearly thinks, I've done all I can. Nathan Braun's here, one of our AM contenders for Q1 track racing. Very rapid Belgian driver, currently third in the AM category with Cosmo Papi and Dieter Schweppes ahead of him in the timing order. Let's see where this one puts him as he goes across the line, and it moves him up to second in class with Velasco going fastest of the AM runners and third overall now in the Lamborghini.
Yeah, obviously now Nathan Braun's pivoted into fourth in AM class at the moment, as we have the 24 going slowly. Now that is Ivan Velasco, who's just trundling around Curva Grande right now. Cosmo Papi dropped down to P9, I think having a time deletion right there, which means it pops him below Dieter Schweppes and Cosmo Papi as part of that AM class battle. Ian Rodriguez, 2 personal bests, lighting up the timing screen alongside Pietro Armani. No purples between them just yet, but you never know. One final sector route. You never know, could upend Babini. Babini going back out for yet another lap. Obviously feels the need to go out again, which is quite intriguing with 3 minutes to go, whether they're having a review, a slight change. As H. De Mello goes 12th quickest ahead of Tincescu and Pisani in the Pro-Am class. Pisani now popping up into 10th fastest at the same time.
There was a brief yellow flag at turn 1, George, but all good now.
Here we are, drama at the very end of Qualy, but it seems to have dissipated, so all good. 2 minutes and 30 to go. Rodriguez finding a little bit of time in the first 2 sectors, but losing a little bit in the final sector. Still remains second fastest, but still 2/10 off Babini's top time. And there's Laura van den Hengel's car, still currently sat P17. It looks like they won't be going out again.
Fifth of the Pro-Am runners at the moment for Laura, as Cosmo Papi getting a nice tow from the Q1 track racing car, and Cosmo Papi an overall podium finisher this year. We've seen some incredible performances from our AM runners so far this year, going all the way back to the first race of the season, where we had Leandro Martins, Dieter Schweppes and Franville Bugliotti joining the overall podium. But it's 5th overall for Papi on this one and 2nd of the AM runners.
Yeah, Cosmo Papi pulling out all the stops, slotting in behind Casaniga, and intent on trying to close the gap to Velasco. Obviously, we've got all 3 classes being represented in the top 3 at the moment. Babini for Pro-Am, Rodriguez for Silver, and Velasco in P3 as it stands. Laura van den Hengel, the first female to win a championship under the GT Sport organisation banner, still sat inside the Porsche. Obviously, their day is pretty much done now, though. 1 minute and 15 left, certainly not enough time to go back out and then enlist another lap time. But for some, they can find an improvement. Rodriguez has. He's just been displaced, though, as Armani moves into second, just behind Babini, but still not within a 10th of a second of Babini's time. Remember, Babini going out for another run, whether that's just to check the car, but no improvements on show from Babini.
Rodriguez fastest in the middle sector and fastest overall, though, by 22 thousandths of a second. The champion's done the job right at the end of qualifying. Is Fabio Babini on a good enough lap? He's just done a personal Rodriguez managed to do. So it's a good job Babini did decide to get back out there onto the racetrack. Let's see if Rodriguez has got enough tyre and enough fuel to give us a little shootout here in the closing stages of this qualifying session. So it's a 33.8 for Babini. He's just about to break the second timing split. He's coming up to the Ascari chicane now. There is the Daniel Casaniga car, meanwhile. And Babini's lost time in the middle sector, though, and Rodriguez hasn't exactly put in a belter either. The checkered flag is now out. Despite that, Babini's still on a lap that could beat Rodriguez, but it was all in the final sector, it seemed, where the Guatemalan made up his time, as Casaniga, meanwhile, was on a very good lap here indeed for the SP Racing squad. This could certainly disrupt the front row of the grid as Casaniga goes over the line, goes third fastest in the end, only a tenth of a second away, but this is Babini driving up towards the timing line and takes pole position back by 48 thousandths of a second. Where is Ian Rodriguez, though? He is making his way into the Alboreto curve now as Armani moves up to second fastest, and it's only 4 thousandths between the top two now. Incredibly close competition for this final qualifying session of the season. Ian Rodriguez about to cross the timing line, and he hasn't put in any personal best, and it's only third for him. So it's Fabio Babini by just 4 thousandths of a second on pole position to Pietro Armani.
Masterful performance from Fabio Babini, back on top once again, and in fact it's going to be his first pole position of the season's campaign. Well done, Fabio Babini, and of course by extension Davide Scanicchio as well, who will have the benefits of it when his driver change period comes into play. Pietro Armani right at the very death though, 4 thousandths away, the former single-seater racer who now sits in Porsche machinery. We'll take a look at the replay now of Babini coming through Ascari, committing to those inside curves, and then back through again before the final one erupted. Had a little bit of traffic in front though, had a breeze past, but relieved to see, obviously, that I think it was Cosimo Papi who gave way to allow Babini through.
A quarter of a second separating the top 5, and all from different teams. In fact, 7 different teams in the top 7 in that one. Brilliant stuff. Fabio Babini takes his first pole position of the season right at the end of the campaign for Tsunami Racing, ahead of ZRS Motorsports' Pietro Armani, Fimes Teams' Ian Rodriguez, SP Racing's Daniel Casaniga, Goncalo Fernandez from Q1 Track Racing, his teammate Nicolas Salins right behind him, and then Ivan Velasco taking the AM pole position by only a tenth of a second to Dieter Reps, Eugenio Pisani and Matteo Lavisi completing the top 10. Further down we have Cosimo Papi, Nathan Brawns, H. DeMello, Giacomo Gibergia, Donovan Privitello, Florentin Cesco, Gianluca Giorgi. For the AM category, Laura Vanden Hengel and Peter Furter, a pair of Pro-Am cars, line astern with Luigi Peroni in 20th position. Then Rene Polvson, Lorenzo Bontempelli, and Riccardo Romagnoli not getting a time in the end in that Team Cars Racing Porsche. So 22 cars setting times in that session. But an extraordinary way to round out the qualifying running here. And the race getting underway at 3:35 this afternoon. We'll see you then.